Juan-o's world.
My baby mama trippin', she been going through my phone. Tired of me cheating, I can't leave these hoes alone. Hella pics, hella tips on my cash app. It's like, hold up a minute. What up, though, Reg? How you living, man?
Man, respect. Thank me for having you on your show, man. Really,
Man, oh, my bad.
no, I said I really appreciate it. You having me on your show, brother.
Mm-hmm. I
Since we,
appreciate it.
especially since we both had the same. Obviously, our ancestors had the same slave owners or some shit back in the day.
It might be closer than that. I
Yeah,
was gonna
you can't be a bad dude. Your last name right. Exactly,
You know what I'm saying? I love it when they call me Mr. Right.
Mr. Right. Yeah, they call me Mr. Wrong, but it's all good. Tupac Shakur used to call my security company Wrong Way Security.
Was Tupac a funny dude?
Tupac was cool, but he was serious, and so he was kind of you got to catch him on whichever day. You didn't know what you were gonna get, but he was a worker. One thing you're gonna get from him, from as a young man, you're gonna be like, dude, where did he get that drive that to work? Every time I seen him, he was a fast walker, walk like Mr. Jefferson, real
Yeah.
fast, and but he always just his mind. It was like his mind was always going.
Man, you know what I was wondering? When you heard he was coming to death row, or when you saw them coming around and they reached out to the company, what did you think about all that?
I wasn't a hip hop head like that. I mean, of course, you knew who Tupac was. You
Right?
you had to be under a rock if you didn't know "Dear Mama" and "So Many Tears" and "I Get Around" and him kissing Janet Jackson in "Poetic Justice," and of course, Juice and all of that. So, because we all was crazy about Janet back in the day, so that was a big part for him. Uh, but so I'm saying all of that just to say you knew who he was, but I was around Snoop as well and Dr. Dre, who, in my opinion, Dre and Snoop were definitely Snoop was bigger than Tupac at the time. So
Most definitely.
I I wasn't starstruck. That's kind of what I try to sold my security company against guys that was like the groupies. That's why you didn't start seeing me in pictures until later. Because I used to think security shouldn't be in pictures and people that take pictures. Man, I did a segment recently where I went looking for pictures, and I think the first picture I took with another man on purposely was about in
Uh-huh.
2015, and that was my
Yeah,
daddy and my son.
I don't have that many pictures either. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? For other reasons. But and then it's like funny now. It's like now you want to be a YouTuber. It's crazy, but I'm
Correct.
way. You know, you got to be out of concert with the people you was doing business with for 3 years, and then you got to go 7 years after that. You know,
Exactly. And then you're
and
good.
here I am.
Okay.
You know what I'm
You sound,
saying?
you sound like you did some time before or something.
Nah, you know, I read so I didn't go to jail. You
Okay,
know, I
got
be
you.
trying to tell people you can educate yourself
Or you
before
can be
you find
smart.
in the situation, and then you know how to do things. But it's all simple shit. You know, guys be out here riding around selling drugs with no license. Car smell like
Stupid
weed.
stuff. Or got an open container or something like that. Drinking
Come
beer or
on,
smoking weed in the car. I think
come
somebody
on.
got caught on the BMF thing because they were smoking weed and had a whole bunch of drugs. I forget the case. It might not be the BMF guy, but I remember somebody smoking weed, driving with a load. Like, craziest
Yeah.
thing.
So that's kind of what I do on the internet. I can't just exactly tell you how to get away with crime, but I try to everything
Educate.
I try to put it, but not on your side all the way though, because you you be kind of biased to the police. But I do try to educate them. You know what I'm saying? Because the police got a job and you got a job too. Your job
Correct.
ain't just to make that sale or to do whatever it is you're doing, which I don't suggest you do because the games is over. You know, but
Exactly.
if you're doing it, at least understand it's your job. You put your uniform on, you have your car clean, X, Y, and Z. Because you was a cop, You know,
Correct.
before you even get to somebody having drugs in their car, it's 3-4 things you done found that was wrong that you taking them for anyway.
Correct. Correct.
I
Yeah.
survived in the street until this snitching shit got out of hand, or people getting in trouble for doing other stuff and then being able to pull another case in. Till that shit got out of hand, I survived real good in the streets off just them principles alone.
Exactly. So you more of a keep to yourself type guy. You ain't gonna let everybody do. You ain't gonna let nobody else pull you under the stuff. Gotcha.
Look, I had a crew that didn't know where I lived or what was going on, didn't know when the shit was showing up or none of that. I would show up occasionally and they didn't know if I had something or didn't.
Or
You know,
didn't.
everybody,
Gotcha.
everybody
You didn't
hated
let
that
your
shit.
right hand know what your left hand was doing. Gotcha.
Never,
Gotcha. Yeah.
never. I had to indoctrinate myself. It was my job. You know, same
Yeah.
way with, you know.
Yeah.
Man, so back to the what do you think about all this stuff that's going on right now? Speaking of that.
You talking about Big U and them situation?
Yeah, because it looked like to me at the very least he knew his phone was tapped and he still kept talking to people, bringing people in, making it a bigger situation.
Well, what happens is when you keep getting away with stuff for so long, you got to remember that this stuff has been going on since 2021, right?
Mhm.
And so he's been hearing things. He got picked up and brought in for where they did some DNA sampling for him about a year ago. And so all of this, people think, oh, so when stuff happened, didn't you be on your P's and Q's? But
Right.
then they let you get comfortable. And I think what happened is they all got comfortable. And when they got comfortable, they let their guards down. Because there was probably a time when they were like, probably threw those phones down. But then you get comfortable. And that's what the feds want. That's what law enforcement want. They want you just to get comfortable. And then that's when they come in and swoop you up.
It seemed like he was beyond comfortable.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't know him like that. I just know it was 365 days for 4 years, right? So whatever that is, over 1,500 days, they probably only got.
You
Snoopy.
good?
Yeah. No, that was just Snoopy Badass trying to call me. But they probably only got like 15 to 20 days of conversations. So my whole point is, you never know. It's a lot of things that was said on the wiretap that they said over phones and stuff like that they don't have, that they think that they did have or don't know. It's just when you're out there doing stuff weekly, then generally they're gonna get lucky. And that's why I remember when I was a cop, I used to tell dudes, hey, y'all can get away with stuff 365 days, maybe 750 days or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They only got to be right one time, one day. You just got to have one bad day to mess up your whole life.
Yeah. Message. You know what I'm saying? So, from what you've seen in the paper, I know you don't know him personally. Okay. We're not trying to bash him. You know what I'm saying? From what you've seen in the paper, do you think he got a fighting chance, or you think that's a closed door?
Generally, with the feds, they usually let you out, or you only beat them when they have technicalities. Mm-hmm. The one thing that makes me think that they rushed because they started hearing people on the internet talking about that DNA and the murder case stuff, and they got scared, was because they didn't go to the grand jury. If you notice, everything was done by a complaint.
So when you see complaint, that means
usually when the feds get you, you've been indicted for like a month prior to they come kicking in your doors or whatever. They are like Diddy, you know, when he got indicted, they did it the day before the grand jury was over. Then they gave him like 2 or 3 days to surrender, and then they wouldn't pick him up.
Right.
My whole point that they usually take it to a grand jury before they indict or pick you up. They went by way of a complaint. Now, it could have been because they didn't want him scaring off the witnesses and stuff or get information to him. But that is very normally most people that you know was indicted by a grand jury when they got picked up by the feds. You
So
very
in your
rarely hear of a complaint.
so in your expert opinion, what would you say would be a reason that they went in on him off of a complaint?
Oh, because people on the internet start talking about that DNA and stuff.
But what you think about 600 and them putting that out there like that?
They just trolling. Or well, they were looking out for the victims in their mind. When you got an
Man,
enemy, you got to accept stuff like that, though. I mean, this is a guy that's talking about he want to go to the police academy and all of that, and he wired around with his badge and stuff. So you can't call him a gangster or a gang member. You
you
just
think
can't do it, huh?
you think he a snitch?
What I want to tell you about snitches can't troll. What I mean by that, because if they know you're doing stuff or you're being a snitch or an informant, and then your handler find out that you're doing something like that, they're gonna come down on you.
Mm.
So no, I don't think so. That's what people always say. Oh, they knew they were about to get arrested and all that. Ain't no, there isn't any cops that are going to tell anybody when they're going to about to make an arrest. They very rarely tell the backup cops the day that they're going to do something or where they're going.
You want
Because
to hear? Okay.
because if one of those cops get hurt, say if I knew, hey, Mr. Wright, tomorrow they coming to raid your house. And you like, what? I wish those niggas would. And you sitting at the front door with a shotgun waiting for them to come running through that door. And you blast their butt, like, fuck that, I ain't going down. And you blast them. Shoot, man. The nigga that told them that, going to jail too. That's why when you ever hear of those shootings at schools and all of that, who the first thing they go do? They go to the parents' house, go and see who gave them the guns, where they bought the guns, and get on the computers, and what friends they was talking to. They want to know who knew about this and didn't warn us and tell us, hey, this nigga's crazy. This nigga talking about shooting up a school or whatever.
You want to hear something funny?
Go ahead.
The day before they got picked up, I was on the phone with Loose Cannon, and he was telling me his issue was with them was they was putting that out there, and that put the victim's family in danger.
He was straightforward about it.
And
He said
he
put the victim or the suspect in danger.
put the victim family.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And he was saying that he had his issue with Big Useless, as he put it. Not that I'm just about to quote him.
Yeah.
He said, I got my issues with Big
But
Useless.
I ain't no snitch. I don't believe in snitching.
He must have said the same shit to you.
I believe that.
And he felt like that was police games. You know what I'm saying? That's why I quoted him. It was his exact words. Police games. He called me while I was in the middle of recording. So it's on the content I was doing, but I never showed it to nobody or played it. I'm not. That's another thing. What do you think about all that phone boning they doing while they in the joint?
I think it's gonna come to bite him in the ass one day. I heard that his bail got denied today. He was confident yesterday that he was getting out, but guess what? The reason the person that was in the courtroom said that the judge pretty much denied the bail for. What you think they used against him?
The internet or that incident with the when he stripped dude.
The incident at No Jumper.
Was that a real incident, man? Because I don't know what be real and what be fake over there. My homeboy CC think everything out there is a act.
Well, a lot is trolling, but that wasn't trolling. Ain't no man gonna be a part of getting stripped down and get beat like those boys who got beat on. I think that ain't the last we heard of that. I think more people. You see how long they let Loose and Big U and all of them stay on the streets with cases that they knew about, the robbery and the dispensary. Right. I think it's another team that's going to be arrested in that situation that's going to be exposed.
The rest of America just thought y'all niggas out there could just do whatever.
They just wait. They just wait. Like I tell you, they'll give you a year or two to act a fool. Because they know once they come and get you, you're not going to be free for 20, 25 years.
Word. So, Dig, when I was asking you about Tupac coming to death row, I was kind of thinking about from the security aspect, right? Because this guy got all this controversy and shit going on. You the head of security. You're already fighting a murder trial. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Did you have any concerns in that department? Not to mention, now you talk about a nigga that'll shoot at the police.
Yeah. You know, I didn't realize, and we put Pac on a bigger pedestal now because of everything that we saw that he achieved and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But Pac was just regular in 95, 96, 94.
I mean, not all the way. Me Against the World
It
was
was regular. LL Cool J had a hit. Julio had a hit. The Fugees had a hits. EPMD had hits then. I think, did you go away on me?
Hell yeah. Hold on.
You had to get off screen on me.
No,
it was some artists out there that was big, man. We done made him like Michael Jackson and all that in 2025. Pac was just a regular. As I told you earlier, Snoop was a bigger artist than Tupac in 95. Tupac took over in about after Hit 'Em Up and all of that, April, May, June of 96.
I don't think that's a fair assessment because Me Against the World was #1 from jail.
2 million album sales, dog. Just because you have you got to know when you got a #1 album. You know, you could have a #1 album in January. Tupac was big; he was doing it, but you see, his record label wasn't coming to try to get him out of prison. Right. Nobody was coming to try to get him out of prison. He was calling for commissary money.
Now hold on, Reg. That's a point of contention where people be getting it. I want to make sure I ask the right question with that. Because the rest of us think like Me Against the World to the rest of us outside of the business, outside of California, it was one of the biggest albums somebody ever did from jail, and one of the biggest albums.
Well, he didn't do it in jail. It was somebody from jail. Correct. I'm sorry.
He wasn't there to promote it, is what I'm saying.
Correct.
So I didn't know it only sold, but you saying by the time he got to y'all, it only sold 2 million.
It only had 2 million.
But 2 million was big. Only person sold.
That was a lot. Dog Pound sold 2 million at that time too.
You're right. With the dog food. Let's Play House. Okay,
Snoop had just sold 1 million in 1 week. 900,000 in 1 week.
And you was already with the company when
I wasn't there until Murder Was the Case.
Okay.
So that was like 95. 94 and 95 is when I came around. But we know what Doggy Style did. Doggy Style was, my point is, and I'm not trying to shit or hate on Tupac. I'm just trying to say he wasn't as big then as he is now.
Right. That's
we
why
put him on a bigger pedestal.
That's why I asked you that question, because I think that's a part where I had to confuse myself. But then to hear you say 2 million, and then to think about what Death Row had did alone, forget everybody else. Because
Fugees, guess who beat him that year for MTV Music Award, Best Song of the Year in rap?
Oh, the Fugees had did the 10.
No, Coolio, Gangsta Paradise.
Right. Okay. I'm getting where you
California Love. LL Cool J, Mr. Smith was running neck to neck with him at the time.
Okay. I got you. I see where you're going.
Fugees was the hottest thing in 90. You know, they wasn't a group, but they were the hottest thing in 96.
Yeah, they did they 10 million damn near out the gate. Yeah. Okay, I get where you're going with that.
Okay.
Hell yeah, Reg, man. So now I get it, because how you explained it like that in comparison to everybody else at that time, he hadn't hit that plateau yet.
At that time. I'm not saying he didn't. I'll never take that away from you now. I think he's the best rapper of all times. I don't compare anyone to him. I prior to this beef with Kendrick, I was loving what Drake was doing, and Sean and all of them. But who music travels? You go to a club right now. You put that Tupac on. Only reason we throw Biggie on, no disrespect to the East or them, is because everybody just we are trained and brainwashed. You talk about Tupac, you talk about Biggie. You play Tupac, you play Biggie. You play Biggie, you play Tupac.
But beefing with somebody automatically puts them on your level, kind of.
You bring people to your level, correct?
And then I don't really understand the comparison because they two different kind of rappers.
Artists, yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
rappers. Well,
Subject
Tupac went
matter.
both ways. He was a conscious rapper at one time, political, but he also did some. You go listen to this too of All Eyes on Me. He was riding that stuff now bump. This too,
But it wasn't no fluff in the Tupac rap.
correct. And I
You know,
wouldn't put no fluff on Biggie either. But Biggie, he made you dance.
no, I'm talking about like rhyme scheme fluff.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you got to remember, L.A. and West Coast artists is more get in your car and drive and listen. We want to ride up and down the head. East Coast dudes, no disrespect to nobody, y'all don't get in the car that much and drive that much because they were generally on subways and stuff like that, or driving in circles or whatever. Because we so spread it apart. We in our cars for 2 hours a day. Y'all on trains or whatever for 2 hours.
Shit,
But
look what it costs to drive around that motherfucker, man.
exactly,
Shit.
exactly. So that's the difference is we like to ride and listen to music, where East Coast dudes like to go and dance.
Most
They go to the
definitely. So,
clubs and party. Yeah.
right. So that would I can't I never been a Biggie fan. I can't take nothing away from him though. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not a Biggie hater.
I just
You know.
think he like Bo Jackson compared to you know a Derrick Henry or something like that because he didn't have that longevity enough. Bo was
I
a
get
bad athlete, would have did a lot of things. He just didn't play long enough, and that's why I think Biggie Biggie didn't have a bigger of a, and he was lazy. That's why they
I
don't have no music
could
on
have
him.
dropped at least one more album while he, you know what I'm saying? But then you never know how that was working out with what they was doing over there, you know.
Correct. Yeah.
And then I can only imagine being fat and dark skinned, and then now I got money and these women want me, nigga. I might be laid up getting, you
Ah.
know.
He had history around him though. He always kept them. He had Lil Kim, Charlie Baltimore, and Faith, and
Yeah,
he
he
took them
had.
on the road with him. So
Uh,
Biggie wasn't one of those that was out there like Pop. Oh, you stay at home, you stay in a hotel. He always either had Lil Kim or Charlie with him, one of the two.
so that's another thing. So how many times after after all the shit popped off, how many times would you say you seen that Biggie did come to California, or it was just that one time?
Now, that's a perception that a lot of people don't really understand, and we just starting to learn and know. But Biggie and them was out here for about a month before he got shot and killed.
Right. And,
Everybody think he just came out for that weekend, or that week. He had been out here for over a month.
and you know what? I was I'm listening to Gene. I know y'all got y'all issue. I'm listening to him, and you know how he be. You know how he is. He was
Yeah.
saying that Biggie wouldn't fuck with Snoop while he was out there, and you know what crossed my mind? Well, who was Biggie getting his weed from in Cali?
Well, keep your DNL. Keep your DNL.
I
Yeah, keep your
figured
DNL. Yeah.
because
But
he ain't buying no bags.
yeah, yeah. Oh no, they be good. Um,
Who
yeah,
you
they
weed
they
from
probably didn't
say a
talk.
lot.
Huh?
Who you get your weed from say a lot.
Yeah. You
When
remember
you out of
Redman say, KVD got stories where he said Redman used to get off planes and drive straight to Compton to get his stuff and hook up with him. You remember that story?
right. So naturally, even like so, he would have had his own connection to Keefy D
Yeah.
outside of Puffy just on that fact alone.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Your boys. That's what Lil C was doing. Lil C was his phone guy. He was his bad guy. His bag, not bad bag. BAG. Yeah.
So what do you? I know people always blame it on the beef with Tupac, but do you think that's the legitimate reason behind what actually happened to Big?
I
Because I
believe
kind
it.
of don't.
I believe. I believe retaliation.
Word, word, word. At that moment, was you after that shit happened? Was you worried, or you knew y'all was insulated from being from that shit?
So I never really worried about it because I didn't put myself in that world like that.
Mm-hmm.
But after that happened, Snoop was very worried. Snoop felt he was next. He was like, "Okay, Pac, now Biggie, I'm next," and he was really worried.
You think he was genuinely?
Yeah, I don't buy that this new theory that Suge Knight is out there pushing about Snoop had any knowledge or anything like that. I am not one to believe that. It's just bad timing, bad situation of what went down between them, and Snoop just trying to move on and try to be a politician, and that's why he's coming off as disingenuous because he's trying to be cool with everybody.
Right. I can understand. He a bit of a I don't know. He some
He's a
in
politician.
general. I'm behind him. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? But then it's like, as black men, we done already gave up so much, and you got a brush of history. Just go and put the details in there, bro. Don't make it seem like you won every fight, fucked all the girls, and you already the one living at
yeah,
the end, bro. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
It
That's
could be
where
a lot to do with how you perceive things too, though. And you got to remember, he smoked. People that smoke a lot of weed, he got a bad memory.
but you don't make a mistake and keep discounting everybody but yourself in all the stories.
We never know what type of person he really is. I always say Kobe Bryant is my favorite basketball player, right? Over LeBron, over Michael Jordan, all of them. But from the things that I learned about Kobe Bryant, I
It's
don't think
not
I
a
want
big.
to hang out with him. I don't think I would want to be his friend, and he probably wouldn't want to be mine. Um, when he was alive. But I just didn't think lived the same type of life or had the same values. And I think that's what's going on with Snoop. We gotta appreciate his music and what he do, but that don't mean we want to be his homeboy. And
Yeah,
so
like he backtracks on a lot of. I don't know. I can't diss Uncle Snoop. So
yeah,
that just
yeah.
and that's he picked a
And I'm
perfect.
not trying to. I'm just responding to why I think he rewrite history a lot. I think he really done forgot. Uh, I really think that we fucked him up. Dog.
you think he
This,
you think he remembers shit how he see it as him the cool ass superhero where he just slid in like
that's what I really believe.
yeah. Hell no. Man, so look, so Poochie and him being suggested. Like I know he gone. The story is out there.
Okay.
Would you would that be the one if we was at the roulette table? Would that be the one that you put your chips on with your knowledge, or would you be like, I better spread these chips around because other things got credibility and legs?
Uh, I I believe that, and only because I believe, and I know a lot and heard a lot from the findings of the murder rap investigation
Right. You
and people that were involved in that
right.
on both
You wasn't
sides.
running the company at that time, no way.
Not at
So
the time. No, not at that time. No.
you had your own company to run, and you
I
was
was
in
doing
charge.
that. I was kind of like an outcast, really. I was like, you know, this kind of still had security around, but
Mhm.
I was mainly with Suge all the time, and Suge was in jail during that time.
That's another thing I don't think people understand that you might get a bad rep for that the even though you Suge's friend and you with him, the distance between the person and security, the separation of the two, you know what I'm saying? And it's like people look at you like you just automatically more mixed in individual affairs more so than you as a security person or security leader because you was the team leader and you
Yeah,
had your own company. It wasn't like you was employed by Death Row. So
correct.
I think that misconception is why you get some of a lot of the rebuttals or bullshit that be coming your way sometimes. I don't think that's clear enough to people a lot.
Yeah, that part, and and the part that a lot of people have played with the name or with me because I had sat back and let a lot of things go. Because I didn't start speaking until about nobody knew who the hell I was until about 2014, 2015, because I just
Right.
stayed away from it. It didn't bother me. It didn't I didn't think anything of it. I didn't know all of this chatter that was going on because not that I didn't care. But once my kids started getting older and they started getting questioned and they started having questions, and then I started researching and hearing what was going on. And then, more of a present, with YouTube and all that and social media started going on. Then I was like,
And your
what?
name
What
was
the
getting
hell?
drugged through the mud. Your name was getting drugged through the
Yeah,
mud.
I was like, what the hell? What?
Yo.
Why? And that's what made me come out.
So man, so when Suge say shit like he asked you for 5 more security guards at
I, you see, he won't talk about it, but I asked him about it. I'm waiting for him to address it with art or whatever, and he won't. And that's why I keep threatening him. Like, would you ask him that? Would you? But he told me privately. He's like, I called Frank. Suge, if y'all don't know this man, Suge is just trolling right now. Suge is just throwing whatever he says. You can't even take anything that he says serious because he just, and I don't want to call him a liar because everything he's saying is not a lie. I can agree and contest about 75% of the stuff that he's saying. But it's about 25% of the shit he's saying that this outright a lie.
so why he sneak dissing you?
That's Suge. That's Suge. When you ain't
You
on this team or you going against me, if I was over there saying, "Oh yeah, his shit smell like," "Oh yeah, Suge is 100% correct," then it'd be all good. But he hates to be corrected, and he hates to be corrected because he feels like this is my world. I brought you into my world. You shouldn't be trying to go against me in my world. And I'm just saying, well, you let me in your world now. I'm not going to just co-sign everything you say.
right.
It
So
didn't happen that way. You're lying.
so
I don't remember it like that.
y'all knew each other from being kids or whatever. Would you say he changed or he always kind of been like
No,
that?
always. That's everything y'all see on Suge Knight. He was back when we was growing up as a kid. Definitely in
Okay.
high school. I can speak more about high school because that's when I was really around him a lot. But we knew each other from the neighborhood and stuff, going to school and all of that. But in high school, when we was playing football together, then you really knew somebody, and that's when I really got to know him.
Was he a bully in school?
He had two cousins, and they were the three big guys on campus, and so nobody messed with them. They were all good. They were. Well, you know how you got the brothers and that's on the school, and nobody wanted to mess with the three brothers or the 4 or 5 brothers. They
Got
got
to
away
deal
with
with
everything at school because you had to fight them all and all of that. So they had
yeah.
that reputation. And
It was a
see, and they were all close in age. They was only a
right.
year apart because two of them were twins.
Okay. Ronald and Donald that Miles James been talking about.
Yeah, Ronald and Donald, they the twins, and they
Okay.
were they were with it. They were with it. And then they had their little cousin Suge that was big and all of that. And so those three, they were they didn't have no problems. They wasn't no punks and no busters.
Was
Like
Suge
like
banging in high school?
was he what?
Was he banging in high school?
No, he had good. I'm not saying that because you got good parents keep you away from that, but
Right.
generally it does. But he was more of an athlete, wanted to play football and impress his dad by going to college and playing football, and he probably hoped to been in the league uh, as a football player. So that was always his desire, um, up until he got his shot, and then it didn't work out. But then he got another shot, and he started doing well in that,
You know
meaning the
why?
music business.
You know why he didn't make it?
Mhm. In football,
Yeah.
because he went and he took that role of a scout player, and anything about scout players, he played on for the Rams as a scout player. You look
What
it up
exactly?
online, and he played like 3 or 4 games doing that when the NFL was on strike.
Okay, I seen that. Oh, you said the scab player. Scab. My bad. I thought you
And
said something.
the regular players, when they came back, they hated the scout players.
So they got them off the team immediately, huh?
Yeah, they a few slipped through the cracks that did well in those scout games, but they were never really accepted by the stars back then.
And would you say he started? Y'all was still keeping in contact and whatnot.
I was following him because of course, he was proud of somebody he played football with. He was doing great in college, and then but mainly I started hearing about him in the Al Heyman days and definitely 92, 91 when he did the things with Dre.
And you went out of high school right into the police force.
It was kind of quick. I went to school, but yeah, I did get hired on at 19, and so
Oh,
I did about a year when I was working the jail, the city jail, for about 2 or 3 years.
how long did you stay with the force?
Uh, I got hired in January of 1985, and I resigned. Not resigned. Got a medical retirement in January of 1996. So 11
Oh,
years.
years.
But about 2 years of being a cop, I was working with Suge and Death Row. Yeah.
Right. Not bad, man. And I know you said you already had trouble with that. That's something else I wonder. Like, did the police like put pressure on you or mess with you any when that shit happened to Biggie?
With Biggie, no, no, no suspicions or no suspect. Uh, nothing. Not until people start making these documentaries and stuff. And
Did did they even
well,
investigate the shit?
they
And
investigated. My house got raided in 1999 or 2000, something like that. But that's just because I had possession of an Impala that they feel that was used in the crime. And Suge had a cellie that kept saying the cellie said that Suge had told him that a guy by the name of Reggie took care of that for me. But jailhouse snitches, man, is the worst because they try to
horrible,
tell anything to get out.
horrible, man. The most horrible. Yeah, the most horrible. But like,
Yeah.
so what was it like being and moving around in California after that stuff happened to Pac, and y'all clearly know who did it? Like, do y'all don't run into each other at the mall? Or y'all don't see each other in these studios, you know what I'm saying? And the air
Well,
is thin at the top. Keefy D getting money. He don't live in some of these gated communities too. Like people didn't bump into it, you know.
well, you got to
They ain't
remember
got no
things that
witness
happen. Got to remember things happen right after Pac got shot and killed.
right.
Things happen in the city for about 10 or 12 days, like 13 to 14 people got shot and killed during that time, right after it happened. But then you got to remember, Suge went to jail. And so the person that have the motivation to keep it going, I guess, for back lack of a better word, now we got heat on that. We got a different type of heat. Now we worry about the breadwinner, the guy at the top of the chain, the head getting cut off, and we trying to keep him out of jail.
And
But then, even during that time, then you feel like, even if it's not true, that you got your retaliation, you get back because of what happened to Biggie.
what would happen to Pac, right?
To what happened to Biggie for what happened to Pop.
Right. Because that's
Yeah.
what I was about to say. Like back in my day, right? Like it would be people that had love for me, but they had nothing else to offer. And if they felt fuck what I thought or fuck what I said or fuck what I feel, any of that, if
Mhm.
they felt that something was an affront to me or an offense or any of that, they would take it upon themselves to adjudicate these matters how they felt necessary and maybe or maybe not say something to me about it after.
Yeah.
Do you think
Like I
was one of
said, it was
the
13 to 14 different shootings back and forth. But then they started raiding. The police came down, and then, like I said, whatever happened with Biggie, whether it was whoever people believe involved, I don't know. So I can't sit up here to speculate. But whatever happened from that, I think people felt like, okay, all right, this shit needs to stop or whatever. Are we
Right.
good? I don't know what the thinking was.
To the rest of the world outside of New York, it seemed like they just ain't investigated at all. Not necessarily it was a conspiracy, but just like they didn't give a fuck. Up
No,
until
they
they
trust
got
me.
the beat
Cops
on.
love big cases like that. They would love to have been the one to solve that. They get all type of deals if they solve that. Uh, and so they wanted to solve, but they felt that it is solved. If you're keeping it real, it's just people on the internet that don't feel like the case been solved, but they feel like the case is went as far as it can go.
And when they say solved, does mean that they know who did it.
Yeah,
So you think they theory, and just for clarification, what you talking about the theory of
Greg Katie's murder rap book.
which was Poochie, right?
Yes, I think that's what the conclusion. Well, I know that that was his
And
conclusion.
and the chick and Suge.
You have to read the book to understand. Yeah,
I didn't read the whole book, but I seen
or
I
go
did
watch it.
watch
It's on a documentary. It's on a
it. Right,
documentary.
I'm gonna have to brush back up on it because I do vaguely, but enough of that shit. I know you
Yeah.
get tired of talking about that. Before I want to ask you about the music industry, but before I get into that, there's some other stuff going on that's catching heat right now, like about and I know your boy. People accusing Orson Whack 100 of being an informant from a case he caught in Texas in 2005. Was he working with y'all at Death Row in 2005?
Yeah, he was over there. He never really worked. He has never received a paycheck from Death Row, but
I
he
heard
was over
nobody
there and
did.
around. He was over there and around. But I was gone. I left in 2002, and so I was gone by that time. And so, so I didn't hear about it, didn't know about it. I only learned about it on the internet, like you guys have, about what happened.
What do
Um,
you you think it's possible to get caught like that in Texas and they just throw the case out and they don't go
well,
to the feds or the state or nothing like that?
well, if
Or
if it's an evidentiary problem, like he claims, then yes.
the
If
paperwork
it's
said in furtherance of justice. What that's the question. What the fuck does that mean?
that could mean that the cops messed up on the search and procedure evidence problem, that they got in the car illegally. You know how niggas they cops pull people over all the time. Get out and go through your car and search and find something. That's illegal. Most people don't know it. They usually try to say that, can I search your car? But if you tell them no, then they got to think of another way to get in your car. But most people say, yeah, because they're just trying to get away or they fear being dumb or whatever. But if you tell them, no, you can't search my car, then they got to come up with another reason to get in your car. And generally, there's only about three ways a cop can get in your car. One is smelling alcohol or marijuana. Two, being an unlicensed driver. Or three, if they saying that they saw some type of movement as they were approaching the car and
But
saw
then
you hiding.
wouldn't a felon in possession of a firearm be a
But it's
charge
how
on
you
his
get it.
own?
It's called fruits of a poisonous tree. You got
But
to
then
get it right.
wouldn't that have been the terms for dismissal?
It would be a dismissal, but like I said, it could be because of the evidentiary hearing.
That's what I'm
That's
saying. Cause like the term you used was on the list, but they didn't check that. They checked in furtherance of justice, and that's what got everybody stumped. Like what
yeah.
the
I don't know why they did that, or some people make mistakes and add things, or usually when they do that, they mean that they're gonna try to research them and get it again or be able to refile it later. It's
was you was you surprised he didn't get mixed up in none of this stuff with Big U too, or they didn't try to
not
drag?
Big Hugh, but it'd be interesting to see if What comes from this no jumper situation?
Yeah, because I think Adam talking that bankruptcy shit. I think that's all a ploy. Maybe he trying to dissolve what that is, so he can't be attacked from whatever
He
liability
could be
that's going
tired of the bullshit, but I think it's just to get that membership up, to get people to sign up, to feel bad. Like, I don't want no jumper to leave. I don't want it to go. I'll give $5 a month for it to go. If I get 50,000 of my 6 million or 5 million subscribers to give me $5,000 a month.
Yeah,
That's how
I
you got the mega churches. These churches, these pastors be getting them. That's how you.
I don't want. I'm not with nobody downfall, but at the same time, I don't really. I know he ain't broke personally. I know how this
He says
business.
that. He said, he said he go do porn to do it. He just say you have to give up no jumper. He got about 3 or 4 different type of. His wife makes $300,000 to $400,000 a month doing OnlyFans or whatever.
Right. His wife giving that pussy away. I don't understand none of this.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Why be married? Why be married? You know what, bro? I wouldn't want my bitch fucking somebody else, bro.
I don't want to know about it. I can't know about it.
Right. I don't. It's shit, man. I don't. You know what I'm saying? We can't. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't. I don't. But that's a story for a whole nother day, dog.
exactly.
You know. I never understand. I can't wrap my head around it. I mean, I ain't gonna say it ain't that much money in the world, but I just don't. And then I'm gonna sit there and watch it with you. I don't. Whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So, that shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, anyways, man. So man, I noticed you and Wack was on Vlad, and Wack was talking about the business that you were able to do when you brought the company back into the black. And I was wondering, like, what advice or what do you have to say for artists now that may not have a deal, but they got a little bit of a follow?
Yeah, it's different times, totally different times. Back then, it used to be A&R, and if you sound good and all of that, we'll go sign you. Now, totally different. All the music executive want to know. As a matter of fact, if y'all can go and purchase my book, it'll give you a whole breakdown of how to, like a how-to book. It's called Confessions of a Label Boss by Reggie Wright Jr. is on Amazon. It's mainly for artists that's trying to aspire to be artists in today's game, and and um all the things you need to know about trying to retain your publishing, when you should sell your publishing or your music rights, the difference between writers, publishing, and deal points on your stuff. It breaks down all of that stuff in the book. It's really
You
something that you need. Go ahead.
you think selling your publishing is a good thing at some time or something like that?
Depending on what you're getting and what they're offering you and what you need at the time. That's just like getting a loan, versus OPM, using other people's money to do something. You may give up a little bit, but any smart people like Magic Johnson and all these rich people and stuff like that, they'll tell you in a minute. OPM.
Other
When
people money.
you hear them saying OPM, that means other people money. Take loans. That's why you'll see rich people do loans and all of that stuff. They leverage what they have to get money. They put that money that they have in the bank as collateral to get money and just to give up a little bit. So you got to figure out the game and where you're at and what you're doing and all of that. But it tells you the difference and the good time to do it. But yeah, if they give you a big enough advance and they're gonna help you push it and work it and license you in the TV shows or get you on the commercials or on Toyota commercials and all that, if they're a company that's gonna help you work and get yourself out there and to be seen for publishing, that's where you eat. That and shows is where you eat as an
You get
artist.
do you get some money later, or you done with
Yeah, yeah,
that slice of the
because you
pie?
making money. Let's see, there's something hot right now. I can't even think of a TV show right or a car commercial right now that's hot.
Fucking
Uh,
being
but
was
whenever
hot.
you hear that played on a commercial or on TV or something like that,
Oh,
Um,
like Suge keep talking about the must be the money on the Geico commercial.
stuff like that. Yeah, stuff like that.
Did
When they
Dion,
playing that, you
did
making
Dion
money.
Sanders fuck y'all for real? They fucked y'all out of that?
Suge and Dion had a good relationship at the time. Suge put him in the studio, but Suge was helping a lot. That's the one thing Suge get a bad credit for, or a bad rap for. He was mainly building relationships at the time, and now he feels like a lot of people not coming back and looking out because he's in the position that he's in. But that's one thing I'll give Suge credit for. When he had the money and he fucked with you, he looked out for you and he helped you out. And that's where he's mad at Dion. Because Dion was a football player, you know. Everybody had money, but they didn't have money like that. $500,000 to go and be given to a producer and to make, you know, because even if you have the money to do it, that don't mean you're gonna get the right song. You know, he got Dallas Austin to do the beat for him and all of that. And so
So
he
he
put him
probably
with
would
the
have
right
thought
person.
Dion would have put that together himself. And then to
Exactly.
find
No
people would
matter
do it.
how much money he had, he would never been able to make. So stuff like that is what why Suge get mad. But that's what happened on that. But to get
Suge,
back to your play, the main thing, and I got to say this point before I forget it, the main thing any artist need to do if you want to get a deal in today's environment, from a record deal or a record company, you got to have social media following. You got to have those numbers uh, on social media.
do you think getting a deal is worth it?
Yeah, unless you Drake or somebody like that. But we're gonna find out about Drake. Drake gonna be mad when Universal go ahead and say, "Nigga, you know what? You can go. Just give us our money back, and you're out of here." His name not gonna be pushed as much as it is. When you got a big machine behind you.
I think no matter what happened, he gonna walk away from this situation a couple hundred M's up.
Uh, he maybe have his freedom. That's all he gonna have is his freedom.
His freedom may be worth and then your freedom in that business come with your masters too.
Now, not always.
You know what I was told?
Not always.
You know what I was told by a little birdie? Drake got bosses too, and people that invested in him too, and that's really what's going on here.
He did what?
Drake got bosses too. He got people that's
Oh,
invested or investing in him too, and that's what's really going on here.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what
Trust
they
me,
feel like?
Jay Prince's son got make a lot of money off of Drake. Still probably. They the one that had him and found him and brought him to the game.
What do you think about Jay Prince?
I mean, he's cool. He try to talk a little tougher than what he is and all of that. You got what you call regional people. That's regional. When you try to step outside your area, I mean, that's just like Suge or somebody like that y'all might think or Big U or somebody like that y'all think is tough in Cali. You got a nigga in Detroit, I think that's where you from or whatever. Be like, nigga, I wish they would come over here talking that crap. Those niggas would be sitting back to Compton or LA or whatever with their tails cutting between their butts or whatever. Jay Prince is that guy in Houston, Texas or whatever.
Right.
But you need to stay in Houston, Texas talking that. You got dudes in Detroit that need to stay in Detroit talking that. You can't be going out. Ain't no national hero.
Yeah, say some of them, one or two of them that ran across your page before, huh? Hey, you know that was me. He was woofing on, right?
Who?
That one time y'all was on the panel and a certain and Wack gave a certain person a treat, a
Yeah.
doggy. You know that was me he was talking about.
I figured that when you told me you was from Detroit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you
I
took
ain't
it
know
like a man. You took it and you bounced back and you was respectful and you like, okay, whatever. Yeah.
I ain't no hater. Get your
Yeah.
get your shine on. I feel like for me to put energy into another man, then that's like borderline, whatever. I'm not a homogenized milk drinker.
Exactly. What you like,
You know,
2%?
man, hell no. I'm fucking drinking water. Straight
Yeah.
water. I'm keeping it real clean over here in
I got you.
the
Got you.
room. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's metaphorical, because
Yeah.
we gotta watch what we say. But that brings me to my next thing about these homogenized milk drinkers. What's up with you and the dude from Straight Game TV, dog?
Well, he just he's. I speak from what I think is my experience. He's speaking from what he believes that he read or what he believes, and then he don't know. He just speaking from an opinion. We can all just say an opinion, but tell me something factual that you know. Okay, paperwork is good, but paperwork not always everything that's going on. But he's mad because I called him out. He got the plus behind him like he wrote all these songs and stuff. And I brought the guy that wrote the songs and said, oh, he did about 2%. He went and threw his name on the stuff, and we had to deal with him so we can get our money because he went down and ran and did a copyright.
Damn, that's kind of
He's a scandalous thing like that. I mean, he tried to go and got some, that stuff with Michael Jordan. He's in court right now trying to sue. He just goes around and suing people. That footage with Michael Jordan where Wack got in between Michael Jordan and
that's a fake video, right?
He's the author of that. He the one that filmed that. And he the one that filmed that and trying to sue everybody right now that ever put that up. He's just a con man and just try to go and do things.
And y'all sued each other, or he tried to sue? How did?
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm mad at Art right now. But he dropped it and all of that. I put up a video that I did with Mob James for him on his channel when I was helping him out, and I put it up responding to something that Timmy Rue said, but he was mad because I was always responding to. I was exposing Gene Deal, his cash cow. And Gene Deal was getting mad, like, Reggie keep coming at me and you mess with him. Because if I'm keeping it real, Art just tried to be cool with both. He was making good money with Gene, but he knew what me and him had did in the past. And he was trying to stay out of it. But me and Gene were just kept putting him in the middle of our bull crap and our bull crap.
He could have stayed out of it. He could have just kept doing what
he had. He should have.
Yeah. I felt interviewing Timmy Rue was fucked up. And then Mob James.
That wasn't a bad thing. It's just not allowing us to respond to it. By showing what James has said. Now I might have messed up because I didn't do it with commentary. I just reposted it. But me and him had a better relationship than that. Plus, I'm the one that set up the interview. I'm the one that gave the questions to him to ask.
But like for Mob James to catch them strays, I felt like that was straight up bullshit. The platform that Mob James
you was on a platform with me when you caught strays. That's just how it goes. Yeah. That's just how that don't make it true. That's just how the game is. If you're gonna get up here and be able to talk about somebody, you got to be able to take it.
Yeah, you're right. I took it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, and I ain't have my bad boy jersey on. Hey, I thought about wearing
Have you and Wack talked since then? Because I'm sure with Wack, he really don't care, or you just like forget it.
No, the thing about Wack is I know Wack little homie, and I knew Loose, but me and Wack never actually talked. But I did get the invite to be in the exposure, but like I can't do that.
Yeah, that's not you. Gotcha.
Yeah, like when I quit doing what I was doing, what I realized, no matter how I felt about people that may do this or do that, it's all a part of the game. So if I'm gonna play the game, I gotta accept the fact that it's a part of it. So
gotcha.
And me exposing people for doing that's just like this situation with Big U. Truth be told, I feel like he got everybody hot. So
Big U? Big U or what? Big U?
I feel like Wack capitalized off some shit he knew was gonna happen, content-wise and building his brands wise.
I think the only thing that he knew is what those mothers and their sister told him. Is all he knew. I don't believe. I'm telling you, law enforcement, even if you are a snitch or an informant, they're not giving you heads up because if one of those co-workers get hurt, because you got knowledge and they found out, they may say something to you like, if I was you, Reggie, I wouldn't be home today. or I'll go all the time. They may give you a hint like that, but just to
But
say, hey Reggie, they coming to raid houses tomorrow, and they coming to your house tomorrow. You
but
don't
just saying
expose.
that,
Go ahead.
just saying like, let's say he just whack fucking with Big U and seeing like the things that he calling for favors for when you know the business that you done brought to the table with him for. So you gotta know that he running himself at a lost cause. And he gotta do something to stay in that position to be the boss. So just with having that understanding that you may have of your friend may lead, and then you knowing your friend's reputation, and then y'all get to beefing, and some of the stuff he was saying, it's like, fuck them, take the police out of it. Just by you watching his actions, you may have thought that it was gonna come to something like this. Not that you knew he did a murder, or not that
Yeah,
you knew he was talking on a tapped phone. Like that's just the fucking mayonnaise on the sandwich. But to the degree of a nigga in his position asking you to pay his mortgage, you gotta know some other shit must be amiss. And that's where I'm coming from. To I feel like Wack might have knew that shit was going bad already. On top of the shit that you got loose and Brick telling you and saying. You know what I'm saying? Not from a police standpoint, but from an inside, outside, direct view knowledge standpoint type situation.
yeah, yeah. I don't think everybody knew to the extent that that this came down was going down like that. But it has been rumblings that he was being investigated. I'm sure he even knew he was being investigated when they picked him up a year ago or whatever, and getting his DNA. Police come right now and they're swiping me for DNA and all that. I might not know what they investigating, but I know they're investigating something.
And the hood knew that, or people knew that they did that
And
last
shit,
year.
Big U knew it. They knew he got picked up. Nobody knew why. But we had heard, and we knew that they came and picked him up in the middle of the night or in the middle of the morning, and then he was released later on that day. But nobody knew what it was.
So as information, because you got your YouTube shit going on, but you still Reggie Wright Jr., you still got cops that's friends that you might have saved their lives, whatever. You still in the mix and you hear, and then I know you helped my homie CC. You still in the mix of things. So as you be hearing stuff, not just with Big U personally, but as you're hearing things or you hearing artists or stuff moving sloppily where it might lead somewhere, how do you pick and choose what you may bring to the internet?
Yeah, we got to be careful because you can get in trouble. Um, and then you don't want nobody to get hurt, because of something that you exposed or you inadvertently said or something like that. So
Right.
yeah, you're right. You said it at the beginning of the show. There's some things that I probably know that I don't speak on or can't speak on or shouldn't speak on. Uh, but it's a thin line, and you got to be careful walking it. And generally, the best way is to not to speak on any open cases. Is my advice that I would give to people. If it's an open case, stay away from it. I don't mind people talking and speaking on things that has been closed by law enforcement or has been
Like the Biggie case.
adjudicated already or something like that. But
Right.
a case that's being investigated, I talk shit about Keefe, but I wasn't there. I can't put him in a car. I can't do all I can just say is an atmosphere that's going on. I can't
If
say,
you if
oh,
you
oh, okay.
like, what would you say about Keefe if y'all wasn't on opposing sides? What would you say about him generally?
Oh, stupid. He's still the stupidest. He's the dumbest criminal of our history that that had got away with a case, He got away with a case and talked his way back into prison or
And from
possibly
your
going to prison.
well, this ain't us snitching or nothing like that, but from your experience, what you know now, what you heard then, do you think he for sure was in that car?
I'm, 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 I would bet my life on it that he was. I'm not saying the shooter.
Right.
I'm not saying that, but definitely one of the four in the car. Yes.
And what you think about now? That's another thing. What you think about this whole thing about people saying that it was a big arm that came out the window in Orlando?
Who knows at dark? When it's dark at 11 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. Shit, are they all? My arm look dark right now.
Right.
Yeah, but you just see an arm come out. But if you really listen to Gaddafi statements, he's clowning him. He said he looks like a bitch in the face.
Right.
With a bitch in the face, and he's clowning. He's not being cooperative, but he's like bitch ass motherfuckers that just did this to my homeboy, my brother, my big god brother, my uncle, my person I idolize.
And you took them down there to police to make the statement?
No, that they gave that statement that night. I took them down about 2 or 3 weeks later because they wanted to try to do a photo lineup because they had some pictures.
You know what's funny about this? And I'm not being disrespectful to nobody because, like, what I've learned, we're going to get into what I think about the street code sometime other. But as we see what it is, people talk about snitching and stuff like that. And in both of these cases, all of these people made statements that night and none got solved.
Yeah.
The C made statements, picked out photos, and them niggas made
They didn't
statements.
pick out. Let me just clarify that. I took them down to do that, but they never showed them the 6-pack. They picked an argument. At that time, they did not want to solve that case. They pretty much picked an argument. Like, why y'all come down here with him? Why y'all didn't come down there? Why y'all wasn't returning our calls when we were trying to call y'all?
So they was willing to make statements or pick pictures, but they didn't get the chance to.
That's what the intent. That's why I took them down there. Whether they were or whether they were gonna lie, whether I can't say. But they got in the car with me and went down there. But all of this theory is I'm taking these kids down there. Kids. The guys was 19, 20 years old at the time.
And they was doing grown man shit. That's what I be
Exactly.
trying to tell
So all that his mama mad at you, but I'm supposed to ask his mama. When was I asking his mama when he was over there drinking and smoking weed and shit? I mean,
say leaving dog shit in the house.
Yeah,
I heard about that. So they fucked up a couple houses.
That's just, you put five young boys in young men in a house, never really had no home training.
Man, fuck that. I ain't never had shit. My house nice. I don't understand that.
But it ain't fine. Let four more niggas live, come and move with you and see how that house look. Let four more different personalities come move in there with you.
I wouldn't let 4 more family members come live with me. I'll pay a motherfucker's rent before I let them come. I'm done with that shit. I ain't sharing space or thought with you. You see what it is, Reg, man. You look at how much, like, just if you just took access to the business and separated from your personal and mental space from Suge, nigga, you know where you would be in the security game and music?
Oh man.
And then that's something I wanted to ask you. Because looking back at it, because Gene Deal do a lot of talking, and then in his talking, it's something I realized. Y'all, as far as rap go, y'all was only one of the only rap labels that have full-time security, like real security, more than one person. For more than just the boss.
Yeah, because Ice Cube had a dude, but he was a gang member really from 111, but he was always with him. He's still with him till this day. I don't know how LL, but every time I saw LL, he was riding alone. He was riding by himself. So yeah, I can't think of anybody that was really rolling like that at the time. Yeah,
man,
I'm sure it was, but I can't think. Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson had a team. Michael Jackson had a squad.
That's a whole nother level, Reg. Come on.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't want to put Pac on that level at the beginning of the show. Hey, everybody, why y'all didn't have 4 people around him? Why y'all? I was like, he wasn't like
That's
that
what
at the
I was
time.
saying. But you know, and this is something. This is a point. I saw Tony Yayo on Vlad, right, and he was talking about them checking in, and I'm from Detroit or whatever, right. 50 was the first rapper I seen moving with that much motherfucking security. Now Jay-Z used to have an office downtown
If you're
here.
talking about security, there's a difference between security and entourage.
No, 50 was
That,
moving. He had an entourage and an entourage surrounded by police. He had a little bit of
well, you
both.
got to remember, after Tupac and all of them got killed, they better learned, especially when you get to that level.
Nah, cause look, I mean, I say it started with 50 because you gotta look, CeeLo, Outkast, all them motherfuckers was huge. Outkast wasn't rolling around with a big ass security staff.
In what year? You see, I'm just saying you got to know the year,
Oh,
and you got to remember,
Outkast
50
was
was
huge.
50
Go
was
ahead.
done by Interscope, who have been through all of that shit before. They had just lost Pac. They had lost, shit. They had been through that. So a lot
So
of that
that's
was coming from Jimmy demand.
so that exactly. And that's what I'm saying, because Tony Yayo was saying they ain't have to check in or whatever. But my thing is, between Tupac and Biggie, of course, people start moving. Between Tupac and 50, of course, people start moving smarter and doing things a little bit differently. But they wasn't rolling like with a big ass security staff. Shit, Cash Money Records was here a lot, and they
Yeah,
wasn't rolling around with security. I'm talking about
yeah,
Juvenile 400 million, not
yeah.
400, 4 million records, 400
Well, I bet you
degrees.
had a big entourage though. Well, I bet he
No,
had a big. You said no
Juvenile and BG moving around Detroit.
by
No,
themselves? No.
fuck yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
So who would you say, or that's the question I'm getting to. Where would you say the big security staffs came in? Because y'all was the only ones
Well, we
moving
did
like
after.
that.
Only reason that me and my guys came around was because of the murder case. You got to remember with Snoop, the civil liability and the possibility of Snoop being incarcerated. That was big to death row at the time. There wouldn't have been no death row. Well, maybe we still had the Chronic, and they had the album done. But I think that's what helped Snoop career get off the ground is that murder case. But
You don't think you would have had that bigger debut without that happening?
not as big as it did. But the Chronic did set him up, and Deep Cover was good before that murder case did happen. So that's kind of a hard statement to say. But 893,000 first week,
It was major. It was major. It was
free
major.
publicity. It was free
It was
publicity.
and then you know what really did it? Them rolling over the CDs. It was so many different things going on for him at that time. You know what I'm saying? To
Yeah,
help.
yeah, yeah.
And then what's even more funny about that to get down to this point, and then it's be like, damn, DLC wrote some of them raps.
For Dre. Not
Oh, he
Snoop,
didn't
but for
rap
Dre.
for Dre.
Not
Okay, okay.
Snoop. Now, Corrupt, if you say Corrupt, I would say yes, but it was mainly Dre that wrote on. He wrote for Dre.
Corrupt don't get his shine as a lyricist, man.
As a writer and as just an artist and as a cool dude.
Oh man. Now this is something that got me, man. I like Daz, man. He might be a little whatever, but I like Daz, man.
Me
And you
too.
telling
I don't know if you can't tell me though. Me too. I like
you
that. I like
man,
that. I just think he's a clown, but I like him.
he seemed like one of them people, you know how whether you like what they do or not, they 100% themselves and you could just accept them for that. He seemed like one of them people to me.
Dad's got issues, but Dad's is all right. Dad's has got issues. And then he lies. But Dad's all right. I don't have a problem with Dad's. I just
Man,
laugh.
that story Suge was telling about him, that shit broke my heart. Is that true?
That he's crazy? Which one?
No, that he was sharing his baby mama with the nigga and
Oh,
and,
well,
and
yeah. No, that's true. They're not sharing. That probably went on for about 3 months, but she did and Daz was out there doing this thing, and so she
you
came
telling me
around the
you
office.
coming to the office to get paid and this baby mama coming from under the desk, nigga, that's major.
Oh well, I don't know about that. I don't know if that happened.
Suge said it like
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
like
yeah.
this
He should say a lot of shit. That's my
mission.
thing. He has the salt on it. He has salt on it, but
So he
he
put
has
salt,
salt.
ketchup, mayonnaise, lettuce.
he gonna make it spicy, but he was fucking on her.
I don't want to be. I mean, I want to do my
Mm.
thing, but I don't want to. I don't want no parts of none of that. Is it possible to be in that business without the funny shit?
Oh, let's see who's out there. What would you say about Common? What type of rapper you want to be? You know, if you want, Ice Cube do a good job, in my opinion. He did
He
a great
perfect.
job with his wife.
Perfect.
Uh, uh,
Fucking everybody. He get away with. They would never let a dark skinned nigga get away with the shit Common do.
you think because he light skinned?
Him,
Let's think of a. All right, let's think of a
dark
dark
skinned
guy.
rappers start doing that shit. They'll say he gotta be married, or they're putting. It's only Diddy and R. Kelly in jail, and they both dark skinned. But it's some light skinned niggas that's been doing the exact same shit. I ain't seen none of them niggas get busted, bro. Why is that? Tell me that, Reg.
Oh, nigga. Let's
I know
see.
you seen some light skinned niggas doing some dirty shit, dog. Well, I guess that light skinned nigga in jail too, but they ain't put him in jail for none of that.
Suge light skinned. They little fucking with Suge.
Yeah, but they ain't put him in jail for none of that.
Yeah, none of that weird shit, huh?
Yeah, and then you gotta take a nigga like Suge off the table, because if he quit playing games and got serious
Yeah,
and really because the thing about relationships is you may build 100 of them,
yeah,
but only 20 of them is gonna be really worth something. And if he would have cultivated the 20 that really mattered, like
that,
y'all relationship or whatever,
yeah.
shit would have been different. That's all them the bridges you need.
Trying to think of somebody light skinned. Well,
Uh,
when they tried to get Michael, light skinned ass.
Michael was originally dark skinned, number one.
Michael.
Dark skinned. Bill Cosby, dark skinned. Now look, Drake been flying bitches out, fucking all of them. Common fucked everybody.
Little Richard was a light skinned.
Man, no, he wasn't.
Little
No, he
Richie light
wasn't.
skinned. But I got
Man,
your point. But
that Pancake 31. It's a conspiracy against the dark skinned brothers, man. So, like, I know you a bad boy killer and all that, but I gotta defend Diddy a little bit, man. I investigated some of the people.
you
And,
know,
and
I don't know if you've been listening to me lately, but I've been saying they better come with more. If
they ain't really got nothing.
if this all they got, Diddy be coming home by Memorial Day.
They ain't got nothing. And then now you talking about he coming up on a year and some change of being in jail, right? So he about to
Well,
get.
it ain't been a year. It won't be
It
a
ain't,
year. He didn't go until about June or July. But his case come up May 5th, right? It's
yeah.
still scheduled for May 5th, May 10th, something like that.
See, after I had did that Eric Holder story, I was investigating the people that was putting the cases on Puff. And I stopped from the story because what I found out is all of these motherfuckers got horrible past. None of these motherfuckers, not even Cassie, could stand up to cross-examination, in my opinion. So to me, it wasn't even worth it that I can. And then a lot of them is liars, like the dude that sued him for $100 million. I knew the
Yeah,
Lil Rod lawsuit was gonna get
yeah,
dropped
yeah,
before Lil
yeah,
Rod, a known liar, scammer,
yeah.
fraudster. You know what I'm saying?
And the heavyset guy, they try to say he used to manage the Outlaws or some stuff. The guy, the one who had him and his attorney.
Oh, come on now.
He's
Come on
definitely
now.
been. I'm
How
surprised
you
he ain't been got arrested yet.
turning in? Come on, I don't even want to
Yeah,
talk about him. But
yeah,
all of these guys, Reg, as soon as you scratch the surface on them, they had like the one that sued him for $100 million. He in jail for touching kids.
yeah. They dropped that shit.
Come
That
on.
was one of those where he just didn't respond or something like that, and they just gave him a default judgment, just like Suge. Suge when he didn't respond. to his judgment, and then they gave him that big judgment. That's all that
That nigga,
was.
he a legal beagle in this Michigan jail up here.
Yeah,
And that's his speciality. Get paperwork pushed through.
man, you got every prison has a jailhouse lawyer.
That's him. I don't know how many people he working for based on his
Oh,
charges,
he
but
helping. That's the only way he gonna survive. That's the only way they letting him in that law book, that law library like that. They be like, nigga, you get off the computer. You know, they won't be letting him monopolize that area he like to be in.
man, I don't wanna take too much more of your time. It's just a couple more things I wanna
No problem.
ask for one, because as you was talking about music and we was just going back and forth about your experience with running Death and Row, you know what crossed my mind? Dame Dash.
Damon Dash.
Cause he took the hits. He did what needed to be done, no matter how it looked. You know what I'm saying? He maintained the relationship, so on and so forth, but he didn't necessarily get the credit for what he actually did within that situation. Kind of like you keeping Death Row afloat, but not just
Yeah.
afloat, making it profitable before Miss Chalet. Miss Chalet must got some real good pussy, by the way.
Well, I was
Or
I
she
was after
drunk.
Michelet to be I was after Michelet to be honest, but
Right.
I always said that too. You said I said that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
said
word
that
on
too.
the street, she the one that put the hit on Biggie, but we're gonna leave that out.
No. We not ain't going to play like that. We ain't going to play like that. No, that was the
Oh,
last thing on her mind. That was the last thing on her mind.
man.
No.
Obviously, she ain't gotta have nothing on her mind. She able to break men like that, man. What she look like in person? Is she really fine or what
Uh,
she had pretty toes?
she go
What's
in
going
and out.
on?
She had beautiful eyes. Beautiful eyes. Um,
Like it
yeah, she had beautiful eyes. But she just, yeah, you know, I seen her good. I seen good days, but then I seen some bad days as well.
with that drinking.
Excuse me. That and just even though the weight, go up and down because she's a small person, but mainly just with the I seen some days when she looked real like, ooh, okay.
You don't like
Yeah.
chubby women at all, huh, Reg?
Ah,
You don't like chubby women at all, huh?
I did all. I
I do
it
a
don't
big
turn it. It
sexy.
don't do
I'm a
nothing for
real
me.
nigga though.
I don't
I
even. I
do a
don't.
big
I can't
sexy
get
in a
into it.
heartbeat.
I don't even like the BBLs.
I, I
Mm,
don't really like that either. I like the natural,
yeah.
you know. I like for the titties to fall off to the side, so I got, you know what I'm saying.
But I love a
I
flat
do a
stomach
big
though.
sexy though, Reg. I do a big sexy. I'm trying to tell you, man. You don't know what you're missing. You
I
don't know what you.
don't.
Well, you married. Oh shit! I don't want your. Yeah, you
I
better not,
know. Nah,
nigga.
she good. But no. I am. I just you got a flat stomach. You got me.
It's some bigger sized woman who don't got a gut, like where
I
it's
know.
flat.
I know. But I don't even like the BBL. I just don't. The BBLs don't do it.
What about when they naturally built like that, like a Pam
Well,
Grier
well,
in her
that ain't a
late 30s?
BBL. That ain't a BBL. But yeah,
Right.
those are
She
natural.
was kind of big, tall, and size, but she ain't had no gut or nothing.
Who you talking about?
Pam Grier,
Oh
like in
yeah,
her
I
late
mean, but
30s.
that's old school. But yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That's why I like
Her
big titties.
Jane. Do you
I
remember
never.
Jane Kennedy? You remember Jane Kennedy? You ever seen Jane Kennedy? Uh, too sweet, too sweet wife. Rebecca. You remember Too Sweet? Leon. What was his name? Leon Woods or Leon something? Leon.
Yeah, that's your type right there.
Leon Kennedy. I guess that was his name. But yeah, she was.
That's your
That's who
type
we
right
all thought. Well, I told you earlier before we started, Janet Jackson was. Everybody wanted Janet back in the night. Every girl. That goddamn Will Smith from Fresh Prince. Go look at Fresh Prince, the old shows. He had them all for the 90s. It
there. Most
wasn't
definitely.
one that you could think of that never went on Fresh Prince.
Hey, you think Will
No, for
he
sure.
was like that back then?
It was Dwayne Martin, definitely.
That's what I'm saying. How all these homogenized milk drinkers get all the pussy, and then they want a nigga
Because
like me to marry him?
because when you get so much at you, like Magic Johnson. When they just throwing it at you like they do, you get bored. I guess I ain't never had that experience. Like 'cause I ain't never got bored with it, but I guess they get bored with it and want to try something else.
I don't see how I try a new woman. You think Magic? You think Magic? You
Oh,
think Magic?
his
Magic
best friend,
on the
yo.
rock?
Yeah, a guy that you supposed to be a hero of is the one that told him he won't put it out. Isaiah Thomas said. You remember his best friend say, "Well, I guess he shouldn't have been going both ways." When they found out when he had the AIDS, when the HIV, he said
Isaiah wasn't his best friend. You know, Isaiah didn't fuck with nobody back then.
Isaiah, man, those niggas kissed on the basketball court before the game started. They were tight until he said that. They
Isaiah,
were,
Isaiah, different kind of man. South Side of
yeah, they
Chicago.
were, yeah, they were tight though until he said that. And Magic took offense.
That's kind of crazy though, because I don't know what to say. I respect Magic for his business acumen. I never really seen him make a difference in Michigan. You know what I'm saying? And we always supported him or whatever. He don't really own no businesses here like some of the
Yeah, he
other
did
people.
it out here in DC, but he did it out here. I guess he just made LA his hometown. I thought he was doing more out there for Detroit, but or Michigan area. But he did a lot out here in LA at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't see him
He
show up.
used his name. He
Yeah,
one that don't believe in. He's an OPM guy, but he used his name, which made open the door for a lot of people.
but it did question me like, dog, you got a son that looked like a power forward over there dressed like a woman. And where the
Yeah,
fuck is the woman's shoes from in the size 16?
yeah. He couldn't live in my house.
That would be difficult.
He wouldn't live in my house.
That would be difficult. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's like yeah. You know, I come from a like I knew my great grandparents and shit, right? And it's not to say people that had a different type of idea of life didn't exist, but the obligation to still be a man or a woman was on you regardless of what your choices on Saturday night might have been. And
Yeah.
this shit has kind of gotten. How your dad feel about all this shit? And now he like an internet celebrity and whatnot.
He just money. He just like the extra money to do shit. That's the only reason he do it. He really hates this stuff, but he just do it he just do it just with a little pocket check. He was
I
like,
mean,
"Woo, I give me some extra dollars to go do this," because he's a big old trick. he love go, he love doing things. He love following. He right now probably crying right now. I don't know how the Lakers doing right now because they won't play the Mavericks right now doing the taping, but he up there right now cussing them out. But
I don't
he
know.
just followed his Lakers around.
Yeah, the Mavericks whooping ass. I ain't watching the game, but they've been doing. I think they're gonna do good tonight. I was
Yeah.
I respect him, and I look at y'all relationship and
Oh
how.
yeah, that's my best friend.
And I just wonder, like, so you know you got the best dad.
I believe
'Cause,
so.
yeah, he
My
ain't turned
mama
his
might
back.
tell me. My mama might say something different, but I believe so. Nobody
Because
can't tell me nothing different.
in all this shit that you got involved in, you end up getting your dad mixed up in, and he ain't never turned his back on you.
Never. I'm sure he was disappointed, but we never had that conversation like that. It was just like, all right, we got to go through this. We got to deal with this, and walked it down.
Yeah, my son a junior, and man, I'll be trying to get him to understand, like, son, when you do something, it's like we did something, or if I do something, it's like we did something. You know,
And
you
that's how he did it, and that's how he treated me, and I
yeah,
always have, to be honest. Yeah.
word. And now look at you, you build YouTube channels. Let me ask you this: how many different people, whether they was on the downturn, on a come up on this social media space since you stepped on it with Bomb First in 2014, would you say you helped get to that next plateau?
Well, I don't like to boast, and I don't want to put people out there,
But
but
I asked
I
you,
always try. I try. I try. I try to be accessible, and and just be an open book. And you treat me with respect, I won't treat you with respect. You give me respect, I'm gonna give you respect. You clown me, I'm gonna clown you back. That's just me. And so, but man, I just try to be accessible to everybody, and that's all.
Do you think people generally know nobody specific? We not no haters in
Yeah,
Juan-o's world, but I want to make sure like I ask a question so I can get the things across. That way, when somebody do an interview with me, some of the shit that because it's one thing for somebody not like you, it's another thing for somebody to have a difference with you based on a misunderstanding or miscommunication or something that they just don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm perfectly fine for somebody hearing me out and saying fuck you. But if you
yeah,
just like fuck me because some shit you don't know or some shit you thought that ain't true, then that ain't really cool for neither one of us because you might be saying fuck the wrong person and you might be sending me energy that don't belong to me. But if you genuinely know what's going on over here and you don't fuck with it, then I respect that. But if you just saying
yeah,
it because that's the general consensus or because these niggas don't fuck with me, then that's kind of different. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
I look at it like because I know nobody really knows me. I know they don't know me. And so that's why I always say people say you a crooked cop. If you ain't from Compton, you can't say that. How would you know? And so those are the only person I get mad. I say, well, get somebody from Compton to say that. I mess with everybody, all the YouTubers that's from Compton, Compton Rick Rock, Melly Mel, all of them. I talk to them daily. Snoopy Badass. While we was on this show, he called me. So niggas from Compton, they all know me. But
I
I get all the towners all the time that has an opinion.
Hey,
And
I
so
just watched a video with Compton Rick Rock. I ain't mean to cut you off, but he put his smooth voice on talking about loose cannon directed. I think he was Dirty Mac and his wife. Did you see that video?
I
Say
watch it, not if it's a recent one, and not
hey,
if it
look, he
just came on. But I told him, I said, "You really like that woman." He said he don't. He said he just playing, but I think he really liked that girl. I say, boy, I say it's gonna take her about 3 or 4 years to fall. I said it's gonna take about 3 or 4 years for her to fall out of love. You wasting your time right now. Yeah. I said you better hope that
oh,
nigga don't get out because he loved that girl too. But she
I
seemed
was
cool. She
yeah.
seemed cool, and she got his back. One thing I can say about she got his back.
I don't. I'm not married. Neither I do have great relationships with the mothers of my kids. They would have never
Okay.
allowed me some phone calls from like just because I made whatever choices don't mean family got to be different, you know. And then the family
Yeah,
is business, the business is family.
yeah,
So I don't think any one of them would be letting me run Juan-o's world unless I was doing something like this from jail,
yeah.
you know. And then, but before I let you go, what do you think about these guys coming on these podcasts telling their gangster stories, man?
Like I said earlier, if it's something that's closed, then I got no problem with it. And definitely if it's helping somebody, because that's all my. I talk a lot of bull crap and all that, but usually every time I try to say something, I'm usually trying to have a message behind what I'm saying or why I put it out. I did some trolling loose cannon today on Bomb First, where I threw up a clip of all his lies.
Hey, that
Or,
shit
or,
was
or, or
hilarious.
And so my whole thing on that was just to try to say, I'm not trying to troll him or anything like that. Because me and him, we kind of cool now.
Right,
But I'm just trying to show people how doing that can hurt you,
right.
by trolling or throwing out lies. I'm really trying to help him by saying, hey, that story about Mick Meals or whatever, or whoever they allegedly trying to get him on was a lie. He's just being funny. He's just trolling.
It's
And,
damn near like that's what it's to the point now. I'm wondering is this whole being in jail shit fake? Because when they running the phone,
that
if
ain't
they say
fake. But I think it's fake about them talking about they got in a fight with somebody and beat up some dudes, and him and Big U and Brick and all of them stood side by side in this fight. I think they're trolling on that. And so I just think you got to know what's real and what's not.
man, it's like how far do you go with that shit? Like and then it's all content. Like you fuck with Adam, you don't fuck with Adam, or you in part for
I
it.
don't like he pushed that gay agenda shit.
Yeah,
Don't like playing with it.
I don't fuck with him. Me and Brick Baby got into it because none of them niggas investigated the story that I did, but they sat up there and called my work fake and then they wouldn't say my name with my content on the channel. But then they got my channel struck for responding to them niggas. You know what I'm saying? And like I told Brick, like, nigga, you could do them views on your own channel. You could have dissed me on your own channel, but you go up there and do that shit, and then you don't even say my name, and then you don't even fact check it. And I wasn't hating on that, but that kind of left a bad taste in my mouth because it's like, Adam, you big up all the niggas that's on bullshit. But anybody want to get a real story, you're trying to do some, you know what I'm saying? You ain't really.
Yeah, he don't mess with me. He said I just need to stick to telling death row stories, and I used to live. I was like, well, if that's the case, yeah, he did it on a YouTube on Street TV with my boy Alex Alonso, and I just said, well,
before or after or during death row. I said he said that shit like you didn't have a life before.
Yeah. Well, he said that's all I should talk about. That's all people want to hear from me. And so then I responded to him by saying, well, you should only worry about or tell stories about people fucking your wife and riding a bicycle.
Hey, I heard he be riding that bicycle with a fellow homogenized milk drinking porn star. You know what I'm saying? In the morning they walk. I mean,
but you know, but let me just say this: I do respect about him is that he given dudes opportunities to get that exposure, to build their channel up. I'm telling you, when guys go over there and get on their channel, they may be saying whatever, but they choose to say it. But it gives them exposure. Look at Flacco. Flacco made $62,000, last month on YouTube, just from covering all of that big U stuff and the indictments and stuff.
That's the only one I feel really like. Of course, like AD and them, they blew, but that they had to go through what they went through. But as far as Adam actually giving opportunity, man, I think he get.
We wouldn't have known Brick. We wouldn't have known Brick, baby. We wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known him. We wouldn't have known Lush. There's a lot of people we wouldn't have known if they wouldn't have got the opportunities, in my opinion. But
I don't know. I ain't no hater. I just hate that message. You know what I'm saying? Because
I hate that message. I hate that message. I hate that message.
It presented the image that y'all could just do whatever out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Brick Baby over there with the kill squad. I got more squads. You know, and it's like, hold on. I'm legit. And I done did things in my legitimacy that was legal for me to do, but I don't even discuss them like that. And it's like, how does he get away with that shit?
Yeah. It's gonna come back and hurt them. It's gonna come back to hurt them. As y'all gonna learn. I don't know if they put it out yet, but that's one of the reasons that their bail got denied. I don't know about Bricks, but I definitely know that Luce got denied, and it was because of things that he wasn't even charged for. That was the reason that the judge didn't give him bail.
You know his mother was a tattletale back in the day.
I heard his dad was.
Yeah, they was. They told on some people here.
Okay. Yeah, but
Yeah. He didn't tell on his first case. He told on his second case, and that's his stepdad, supposedly.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But and she's a high powered. She got to be a high powered tattletale because he didn't got into. Y'all got the 3 felony law out there, and this guy has felonies in multiple states. And is a known gang member. And that's why the rest of us.
I thought you said that was your friend. I thought you said that was your friend earlier. Oh, you talking about Brick? Oh, you talking about Brick? I thought I went back to Luce. Okay.
I with Luce. If you got a rapport with Luce, he a difficult guy to dislike. The nigga say very
correct
and all type of shit. He's very It's like he's very respectful. He presents himself. You know what I'm saying? He's a decent dude. You know, but the Brick Baby nigga, you know, I give him a pass because obviously he a drug addict, so I don't just like ride on him or nothing like that. But the truth is the truth. You a felon in several different states and a known gang member, and you got more than one felony in the state that you from. the fact that you haven't did any for real jail time is a feat to me within itself.
We're gonna see. We're going to see. Telling you, a lot gonna be told on this case. A lot gonna be told and exposed.
I'm on this one. I'm more on your side. I wouldn't think nobody was wrong for snitching on Big U because I feel like he made everybody hot. Not to say that Brick wasn't eventually going down himself because he obviously had a whole lot of shit going on that they kept catching him for. But you know, he probably would have just been going down for fraud. You know, one charge. You know what I'm saying? Or some interstate shit, or being a habitual offender. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like as far as this making this into a RICO. Big U and the Marley Marl nigga. Not to say it's Marley Marl fault, but Marley Marl was already caught by the feds for the animal shit. And people forget about the animal shit though too.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
Yeah. So like, I feel like now I'm not an exposer, so I'm not gonna call him a name. I did not pull his paperwork, but either him or maybe his security staff or maybe his security equipment. I think some of that shit is tied into this situation.
It's gonna come out. We're gonna learn a lot in the next few months.
I don't know. That nigga better plead guilty and fall on his sword before he hang his whole family. Because he took federal money and he admitted on that jail phone. I mean, when he was going to turn himself in, developing options, pay my house. I'm like, oh my God, he must don't have a lawyer.
They say he's not that smart.
That's a whole nother different level of not that smart.
Yeah.
You know what made me wonder about shit like that? Like how you go from people flying you out to their private island to you ain't got a $10,000 retainer for a lawyer to represent that turn-in statement for you.
Yeah. And people that's one thing about people when you get high like that, they will distance themselves from you. But I hear he got three. I heard Lou said today on thing that he got like 2 or 3 attorneys already, and he's trying to get one more hired on. But I heard he got like 2 or 3 attorneys. So we'll see.
When people fall off you like that, that kind of give credence to the whole you might have been extorting people though. Because
we forget all the names that they really was going after. We heard about Shaq, but Draymond Green, and then and it's gonna be interesting what Uncle Snoop. You remember Uncle Snoop was hanging out with him real tough. You remember when they had that Crip ball and all that, and they put him as the top Crip and all of that. So
Snoop a real slippery motherfucker though. He a real slippery motherfucker.
He been around. He done got away from a lot of stuff, huh? He get away at the right time, huh?
Yeah, man. You know, shit. I don't know who had the 380, but the 9-shoot both kind of bullets got.
All right. Time to go.
Hey, sure wrong for doing that.
Yes. Very much.
I thought so too.
It's very personal, though. Can you be wrong when it's personal?
But you're going to get shit on everybody's shoes,
but
though.
Snitching is snitching, so.
I mean, it's 0.9, it's all in the game. And then, like, what's been misled is it's obviously more snitches than people not snitching. I'm just one of the dummies that wouldn't do it or didn't do it. You know, Reg.
It's always been going down. I remember when I was coming up, the term used to be called, I got down first. I didn't snitch. I got down first.
Let me tell you what a nigga told me, man. Nigga, I'm on my way back down south with the shit. And these niggas had some snow bunnies in the spot. And we stayed in the black suburb. You know, shit is separate down there unless you live in a poor community or overly affluent community. In the middle class suburb, shit is separate down there. Okay. They had poverty-stricken snow bunnies over there. Long story short, snow bunnies, weed paraphernalia in a trash can. Somebody calls the police. The police get the blunt guts, which, so you know, the insides of a blunt guts in your trash can or any type of trash like that in your trash can is enough for a search warrant, people.
Okay.
So, long story short, none of this is supposed to be going on at this house. We're doing business at this house. Or not doing business at this house. This is where we transition from to do business to other parts. They got people that came down, 8 niggas in the house. They go to the mall, they buy all the expensive jeans, come back to the house get hit. It's not supposed. Now we in a part of town where it's guns, but whatever situation you get into is gonna be up close and personal. So if you can't handle yourself up close and personal, that gun ain't gonna help you down here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a gun in the house. And then there's leftover shit in the house because you allow somebody else to bring their shit into our thing.
Okay.
So all of these things are in the house when it shouldn't be nothing but money. And this is when Instagram first came out.
Okay.
Motherfucker post a picture of $200,000 or $300,000 in the house that don't belong to them. This belong to me.
Yeah.
House get hit, money get lost.
Get taken. Yeah.
Niggas in jail, now they been making damn good money. Ain't nobody but one person got any money. I'm on the phone with niggas. And I'm already about to get them out because that's just how it's going on.
How you operate it. Yeah.
Nigga tell me it's bigger than Nino Brown, Juan-o. And I'm like, what? As I'm counting out 40-some-odd thousand of my own goddamn money to send several states away because you niggas don't listen and you just made me take a loss. And I'm a nerd from the hood that just ended up in this. But I'm standing on business. You a nigga that's been on this shit, ain't graduated high school the whole time. And as soon as you find yourself in a situation that you put yourself in,
you ready to roll. You ready to roll.
I was done.
Yeah.
I didn't know how much money I was making, but when it was over, which I'm sure you could imagine, man, I had about a fucking $9,000 a month overhead. And we talk about in 2011, 2012 here when I left the game.
Okay.
And I just quit cold turkey because it's like, if a nigga can put himself in a situation and you supposed to be the
top dog, the muscle. Yeah.
And the first time shit get on your dog,
it get hot, and then
it's bigger than Nino Brown. Nigga, it is. It's your fault.
Yeah.
You ain't even got bail money. What the fuck you just did with the 20 bands you made last week?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I can damn sure understand how you look at things knowing you done cleaned up situations and then motherfuckers don't even show up to bankruptcy court.
Yeah.
Or you didn't help with property to keep people from being broke and then motherfuckers don't do their part. And it's like, and then you got the nerve to speak on me, goddamn it.
You summed it up. You summed it up good. or you want to try to downgrade what I did because you mad.
That shit gotta hurt a little bit. But I gotta give you that's one thing I gotta give you your respect, because even when you ride on him, you still show that you got some love, because not that you could say shit that might put him in trouble or you in trouble, but I know you can smash him. I know you can smash his spirit. You know what I'm saying? I know you can smash I know you can smash his hopes and dreams. But you don't never go that far. But I know he be kicking some dirt at you.
He got a few more chances. He got a few more shots.
Oh,
he won't. I've been trying to push him to do it, but he won't.
The Tupac thing, that's the last question, man. It's so good to kick with you, man. I damn sure appreciate your time. Tell your wife thank you, and I'm sorry.
No problem. It's good. Yeah.
So now we know that Suge really said that shit. Do you think that was one of them times, like you say, Tupac really said the shit about? Now we know Suge really said the shit about Tupac getting fucked with in jail, right? Not that it's true, but we know he said it.
Yeah, he played with it. Okay.
Right, he played with it. From your experience of knowing this nigga from being a kid, because him saying it don't mean it happened, and him saying it to y'all don't make it true. But we know Suge like to throw bullshit in situations, like you said, 75% you gonna pretty much stand behind them, but 25% of the times you absolutely for sure it's bullshit.
Correct.
Do you think that was bullshit to get everybody on board with him doing what he had to do to get Tupac over there, or do you or some shit he just said, or do you think he really?
Well, he was allegedly saying it, making jokes about it when he was going to see him to get him out. Is when the rumors first started.
Mhm.
You know, and Wendy Williams had put it up out on the radio. So, and I think Chino XO that rapped about it or talked about it. But then once he came to Death Row and he was now going to be on Death Row, it was like hush.
All right.
The audio that's floating around, he said it in a vague way. Well, like if it's supposed to be a documentary or if it's supposed to be factual, then it should have been in the movie. Speaking on John Singleton, the why he
Right.
got fired from the movie. So it was like, well, if it's supposed to be, you know, a true story, then John Singleton was right to quit about that.
Because you know, the outside of California, the rumor is the gay scene was with his mom's, not with Tupac.
No, that ain't what it was. It was with it was about that. The thing about the mom was just that she was on drugs.
Right. I don't know. You got some guys in New York that was in that correctional facility at that time, before and after and during, that say nothing like that happened to the nigga.
Yeah,
And then we
we gotta remember the times we were in. So things like that gets promoted crazy now, but in the '90s, we didn't hear about shit until it came out in a magazine.
right. But you look at it, a nigga with Keefy D himself, you the nigga that raped Tupac, he'd be all over the internet with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Instant career.
Yeah, I'm
Looking for
not sure. I don't believe it happened. You talking
life.
to you talking to somebody that don't? I think I don't believe it happened. So
And that's what I was thinking. That's why, because when you and Wack talked about it, I didn't think it got covered. I didn't think it was clear that one, you didn't believe it happened,
yeah, I
and
don't
two,
believe it. I was just disappointed that he would speak on it.
right.
You asked me about it, you supposed to shoot it down, being as close as they were. Nigga, why the fuck you asking me some shit like that? That shit didn't happen. That's supposed to be his response.
Right. All with the consummate professional.
That's supposed to be his response.
Right. No, real shit. I
Yeah.
totally agree with you, man. Reg, I appreciate you for sliding through, man. If it's
Appreciate you,
anything,
brother.
most
And
man,
hopefully this is not a one-time thing. Anytime you need me, brother, hit me. Any subject come up, anything going on, hit me. Okay, gotcha.
I'm accepting all opportunities. I damn sure appreciate you opening the door. So, man, that's pretty much what it is, you know. And I'm always stand on business and be respectful and respectable. You know what I'm saying? In this
I
shitty.
appreciate you. Appreciate you for that as well. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Is it anything you got your book in hand, or should I just?
It's over there. It's not handy, so I'm good. But
Don't worry
hopefully
about it.
I'll send you a
I
link
add,
and maybe you can post it. Yeah. I'll
I'll
send you a
definitely
link.
do that, and I'm gonna add the picture in here when I edit it up. You
Okay.
know, man, don't even worry about it. Is there anything
Gotcha.
else you want to say? Add, give a shout out to, whatever.
Just come over, check me out, 9 a.m. Every day on Bomb First.
Word, man. Y'all system is very tricky because y'all shoot. You say y'all shoot one day a week, but sometimes them it's like either you a fucking oracle or the way John be doing them clips. I don't know what the fuck to say, but
Yeah. Nah, they usually trust me. If you see me on screen, I only do this on Sunday mornings. Now, if I'm not on screen, if I'm just a picture of me sitting up there, then I done just, did something right quick. But if you see me live and moving and stuff like that, then trust me, I did that Sunday morning and we just planned it out.
I gotta steal one more question for you.
All right.
What you think about the Charleston white guy?
I think he's what we call a shock jock back in the day, a shock jock. I think a lot of things that he said, if you really listen to him, he's right on point. I think it's just how he says it that turns us off.
It's
I, I,
contra-
I yeah, I don't like the way I don't like his the way he presents it on some things. But if you really listen to a lot of things that he says, he has a damn good point.
he do. He do. Like I didn't like what he said about what happened with the young lady and her father. But then at the same time, I didn't like that the father knew he had situations like that going on and had his
Uh-huh.
daughter with him.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't like that the mother knew that the father was living like that and would drop the child off to him in not a safe location.
And yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So like I don't agree with everybody's not gonna take the time to articulate like me. And then some people have been like you've been a cop. So some
yeah,
shit you desensitized to. So it's just like, yeah, whatever to you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
This nigga community activist, he might be desensitized to it. Me as a person in the middle, I didn't like none of that shit.
yeah,
I felt like it all could have and should have been different, but like, what do we do about it now, Reg?
yeah. You just gotta learn from it, and hopefully it don't happen again.
And while if you got beef going on like that, your kids shouldn't be with you, bro. If you when you make the choice to live that life, you stay the fuck away and send money home.
They taught us in the police academy if they know, we be armed or something like that, you go and you get robbed or something like that, you see a robbery go down, you just try to be the best witness. You do not intervene. There was a situation where a guy was with his daughter, and then he did put the daughter up underneath the car, but then his father went to try to intervene, or engage, and he found out during the investigation, because the daughter got killed, that he purposely went to shoot at the daughter, knowing when he saw her hide him under the car. And right there is when they teach you. If you got your kids and family with you, you just try to be the best witness as you can. Do
You
not
know,
engage.
in Detroit, the police got to keep their gun on them at all times, and
We in California, you do as well.
I think basically the unspoken agreement is they on duty at all times. But the police here is different.
Yeah,
The police
it's
here
guys
take
do, but it's all about how you do it too, because everybody think you're supposed to just be bang bang shoot shoot. They really don't want you to engage. It's really just there just for protection. But you better
right.
do something. You better call. You better try to be the best witness that you can. That's why I
You know,
always talk about where we would neglect as a security company on Tupac is because I didn't want them to be armed assassins running down there shooting, getting into a big shootout on the Vegas Strip or whatever. But I
right.
did expect them to be a good witness. That was a white Cadillac and partial plate of 234 and something else, and it was about 4 or 5 male blacks in there, and all of that is what
I ain't
they
got
should
none
have
of
been
that.
looking out for. You ain't get none of that. But I also know I done seen cars and shit get shot at, and when you hear those gunshots, what's the first thing you do?
Get down.
You duck.